with your host, entertainment attorney Michael Saltz. Let's take a deep dive into where the industry has been, what is happening now, and where it is going. Take it away, Michael.
Welcome, everybody. As you can see, we have some esteemed DJs with us today.
Some would say.
Some would say. I would say, definitely. My name is Michael Saltz, and I'm an entertainment attorney. I represent a wide range of celebrities and artists across the entire entertainment spectrum. Some of those people are in the music industry, and even some of those people in the music industry are in the DJ community. So, with that, we specifically help them as they become heavily involved in the DJ community, and I am also a presenter here again for a number of years. I've lectured on such things as intellectual property and legal issues, but this past year, in my discussions with them about topics, we discovered that there wasn't really any panels dedicated more towards the DJ scene. And put this together. And I'm proud to say that I've been informed we're the only DJ.
Yeah, can we give it up for Michael for making that happen? Okay. That was the
So let's discuss some of these cutting edge issues that we have and where are we going? All right. First, let's do some intros. DJ Hapa. DJ Hapa is considered one of the best guides you could have in the musical journey he creates every night. Describing his sound as feel-good sound, he is known for playing a multitude of genres and blending it all together to create a unique soundtrack. His list of accolades and clients includes such top brands as Formula One, Ducati, Ferrari, Microsoft, ESPN, Lululemon, and the Grammys, just to name a few. He has shared the stage with artists as diverse as his musical selection. Michael Jackson, Earth, Wind and Fire, Drake, Bruno Mars, Marshmello, Chromeo. In 2016, DJ Hapa created a new group called Phil in Good, where he is executive producing remixes of original tracks, accompanied by live instruments, which is saw earlier. Recently dubbed the DJ Coach, we'll get into a little bit. Hapa has found a way to blend his 20 years of experience as a DJ with his passion for teaching, deliver informative and digestible concepts in the classroom. His degree in sociology from UCLA and his ever-growing diverse list of accolades makes him a tremendous asset as a mentor and coach. Hapa prides himself on being cutting edge of music, education, technology, is well-versed and certified practically every major hardware or software brand that is in the DJ space, but I really like about him on this panel. What he brings to this is that since 2004, he has helped build Skratch DJ Academy and their various locations throughout the US into the world's leader in DJ education, and is today has a new project, the DJ Coach, intended to bring valuable mentorship to DJs and aspiring DJs across the world. In 2020, DJ Hapa began a new chapter as Professor Hapa. I don't know if we're going to have to change his name, but at Mount San Antonio College, right, where you're currently teaching DJ performance as part of a first of its kind audio arts degree program inside the largest community college of California. And if that is not impressive enough, DJ Hapa is also a motivational speaker, encouraging others to live positively and full of personal challenges. Thank you for agreeing to be part of this day. And DJ Skratch Bastid.
You need it the best. Yeah, that's how you're supposed to say it.
Skratch Bastid's rise to prominence began with his 2003 Scribble Jam win. and his world-class status was solidified with subsequent victories in 2004 and 2007. Pretty remarkable. He released a collaborative album with John Smith and Pip Skid titled Taking Care of Business on his own label, First Things First Records in 2005. And was the first ever Canadian DJ, we won't hold that against me, Canadian DJ, to be nominated for the Juno Awards for Producer of the Year in 2008 for his work on Buck 65's album Situation. He was nominated for the Juno Award for Instrumental Album of the Year in 2016 for his collaborative project with
Afiara Quartet.
Afiara, thank you.
Before years too.
Wrong emphasis. Right there. String quartet titled Spin Cycle. Bastid, DJ Skratch Bastid. Also appeared as a featured artist on the track ICQ on Canadian punk band Twerk's Tonight EP in 2015. He's a global ambassador and judge for Red Bull's annual Freestyle DJ competition. Since 2010, he has hosted daytime block party style events in various cities called Bastid's Barbecue. Where he treats his fans to a variety of meats adorned with his own Bastid's hot sauce.
Hey, it's fire.
He can be found, other than right in front of you here today, on Twitch when he live streams as a Twitch partner. And his mixes can be found on Apple Music, where he is also a guest curator. What a fantastic panel. Thank you. Now, as if I did not pump these guys up enough, let's talk about a little bit how both of you got into the DJ scene. How did you find your passion? Let's start with you, DJ Hapa. Tell us a bit about your formative years and your journey to discover your passion for DJing.
Yeah, so I think for a lot of DJs of our era, there was no school that you could go to. There were no books and really no videos or anything like that that you could get to be able to learn how to DJ. So you really had to have the equipment. And I grew up in San Francisco, which many of you know is a pretty big hotbed for DJ culture. But I grew up in San Francisco, was making mixtapes, pause tapes on cassettes in high school, and then I found out that, oh, DJs are using vinyl records to be able to create some of those scratch sounds and things like that. And my best friend's brother, my best friend Mike in high school, his older brother was a DJ and he had turntables in his room. And so we would kind of peek in every now and then and sort of see what it was. One day when we were kind of looking at his gear, he handed us a flyer, and it was for the invisible scratch pinholes at the DeYoung Museum. And I was like, what is this? What are these guys going to teach me about DJing? They can't even spell pinholes right. I went to the DeYoung Museum, and it was a room, of maybe, there was probably like 12 people in the room. And I saw Qbert, Mixmaster Mike, and Apollo play the turntable like an instrument as a full band. And it blew my mind. And ever since then, I've been chasing this feeling and whatnot. And so yeah, it's been great. Things really took off for me though when I came down here to LA. I went to school at UCLA, and here is really where I cut my teeth. Found other DJs who were much better than I was. Basically became really good friends with a lot of those DJs just to be able to learn and grow. And there was a genuine interest, I think, mutual interest that we had. But I learned a lot from watching, from observing, from carrying crates to the gig, setting up the speakers and the lights, and then sitting there for hours, just watching. That was my classroom, and yeah, I still to this day, now that we have schools and I'm a big part of bringing DJ education into the space, I'm still a big proponent for all students to observe, watch. There's nothing like being able to watch a DJ live. Whether or not you like them and their style or not, you're gonna learn something from it. So yeah, I still think to this day, field observation is such a key component to becoming a better DJ.
Fantastic. Skratch
You
back.
found some old pictures there, Michael.
I did.
I look like a baby in these photos, man.
Trip to yesteryear, your UCLA days.
Yeah. This is in West LA, for sure. And that's my buddy, Mr. Chop from the Beat Junkies. Shout out to the Beat Junkies. He will be down there doing a showcase later tonight, so you should definitely stop by.
Yeah, well, never let me know a little bit about your past, because I will find pictures.
Yes.
So,
In the discovery period,
in
right?
the discovery period. You just got that.
How you doing?
All right. Let's find out a little bit about
Sure.
your journey.
Sure. It began in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. There's no Scotia. So yeah, it's a pretty isolated part. It's up by Maine.
Yes.
Lord, see, whenever I tell people that, no, they're like, where's Maine? But yeah, it's up there, east coast of Canada, 1 hour east of New York City. And I grew up, my family was pretty into music. My dad was a bit of an audiophile. My mom is from Trinidad and Tobago. And she was always, parties were always filled with music and celebration. And I was into music from a young age, just dancing, grooving, having a good time. And then through the TV, we had Much Music, which was our MTV. And Much Music was an amazing channel. There's still lots of great programming.
I remember when MTV used to play music.
Right? And so I became highly obsessed with music from watching Countdown and stuff. And eventually hip-hop music became my favorite. And I became obsessive about collecting the music, seeing the videos, buying the tapes, cassettes. And eventually I found out there were some songs that were only on vinyl, not on cassette or CD. Similar to Hapa. The story, we found out that we kind of came from a similar era this week. And I bought those records, and eventually the records were the exclusive tracks. I put them on my mixtapes, which were used to be cassettes and CDs. But then I got the vinyl and I started trying to scratch. It sounded awful. Had to figure out how to make it sound like DJ Premier or Pete Rock or all these other cool sounds that I liked. And eventually bought some VHS tapes of Skratch, Pickles, Beat Junkies, names that have been mentioned here. Sought out some local people like Buck65, who was a big mentor for me, 6'2", and eventually entered battles around 1997. When I was 15, and I had never been in a club before, walked in, was terrified, but learned. I placed 4th in the battle, exchanged some numbers, and rehearsed for the whole year. Went back and won it the next year, and then that kind of started my journey.
So it was one of those battles, the Scribble Jam.
Well, that was 97, 98, 99. Scribble Jam 2001 was the first year that I went down there. And yeah, so it's...
So is this you in 2001?
Yes, it is me in 2001 with some mad sideburns. And a cheek full of Skittles, if you look real closely. That was some kind of superstitious thing that I had back then.
So my understanding is that throughout your career, you have pretty much had your performance, the Scribble Jam 2001, follow you.
Yeah, like even this morning, someone like posted an Instagram video like, iconic moments in DJ history, part 2, Skratch Bastid Star Wars or something, you know. This video, it kind of went viral, well, it went viral before YouTube. It was on collegehumor.com and E-Bombs World and all these websites that were before YouTube. But this routine is 2001. I'm actually using my mentor's record, Buck65. I used it against him in a local battle, and then I took it to the international stage, and yeah, it still lives on today.
Sound is turned up on this. Let's take a quick look. I don't have the time to show the whole battle.
Yeah, sure.
It was a short battle, but there's one particular moment which I think definitely was a mic drop.
Caught DJ Kiko mid-golf clap. Yeah, there he goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's turn that up.
Time!
to my heart as a very big Star Wars fan. In fact, I wore these cufflinks for you. But if I can get it out of the jacket, what do you see there?
Stormtrooper cufflinks, that's right. Get on your level.
Exactly.
Don't be surprised if there's a missing by the time.
Exactly. I brought an extra pair just in case.
So I got into DJ battling, but I was always obsessed with music. So between battling, I won some competitions, got some gigs, and then I found out that doing just the tricks wasn't enough. I had to learn how to DJ in a club, and I really fell in love with that as well too. Obviously, I hadn't been in a club when I was battling in my late teens, but then when I started going to clubs, I really loved the way a DJ could control the energy of a dance floor, progressive at night, and of course, I was just into music. I was also into production, so the music obsession has never left me.
Right. And you're a Red Bull ambassador too.
Well, Red Bull Freestyle, so when that competition came around, it had started in Canada actually, and it was kind of around the mashup era. It's called Freestyle because we asked you to play 3 different styles of music in your 15-minute set. It's kind of a novel concept, but back then it was a little more groundbreaking, I'd say, and it was kind of around the era of digital DJing taking off too, as well as Serato, Final Skratch, and DJs not only just taking crates of records to shows, but entire folders of music and able to put them in the mix.
But that allows you then to become a mentor to other DJs.
Yeah, for sure. Shouts out to Jazzy Jeff as well, one of my mentors. He was on our squad, and we would go around the world. There was 9 world championships that we did around the world, from Tokyo to Vancouver, Toronto, Chicago, Paris, Poland, Azerbaijan 1 year, Santiago, Chile. It was an amazing time. It's actually hasn't come back since pandemic. I don't know if it will, but yeah, we hope so.
Fantastic, that's wonderful. And to have both of you here as mentors bringing up the next generation, teaching them, I can't ask for a better parent. There's one more thing, though, that just actually was so amazing to watch, and that's your barbecues. You want to explain a little bit of it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Bastid's barbecue. Well, I did wear the t-shirt today, so.
They do one better.
You say good music, good food, people? The soul of the rescue. So yeah, good food, good music, good people, and I've always enjoyed the jam and the party, and this is the party that I want to make, and we've been doing it since 2011 in Toronto, and it's gone around the world, and keep going, so.
But really quick, how many DJs do we have in the room? If you're a DJ, raise your hand. Okay, amazing. One of the things, shout out to all the DJs, give them a round of applause. The thing though is that I think a lot of DJs, you maybe start by, looking for gigs in which you can compete for that spot. And then at some point, like something that I believe that every DJ should get a chance to experience is throwing your own event. And being able to really curate everything, like you have the right skill set to be able to do that. But I think like you really, taking that and run with it and like created this whole brand around Bastid's Barbecue. Like, now it's your property that you have and you're really running with it, doing it all over the country. Yeah, thank you, brother. Yeah, man. Yeah, but do it, inspire something, like somebody who's here. You need to hear that. Yeah. Like if they're like, man, I wish I could get my foot in the door of this one spot and they're just not letting me in. Forget them. Like, go create your own thing. Like, go make your own thing, make it your own property, and bring it into a venue that's actually gonna like partner with you, and then take it step by step.
It's a lot, and there's many steps, and it's a lot of work. And I can tell you that the first Bastid's Barbecue did not look like that. It was me cooking dogs and burgers outside while people were waiting to get in line to the club. But every time I did one, I got better and better and better. I had more people who collaborated, and
It's if you build it, they will come.
Yeah. Not always, but if you build it enough times, there's still something there, man.
And I'm just still buying for some trying out the hot sauce. So
Oh, I got you. I got you.
fantastic.
Sauce.
So we have a very distinguished panel, and I'm super excited about that because we also got to break bread last night at a lovely dinner, and we've had some very deep philosophical discussions about certain issues affecting the DJ community. And some of these are very cutting edge, and I was so surprised to hear from both of you, your views on it just coming from an area of positivity. And so I'm very excited to share this with the group. The first topic we're talking about is what's
Well, for the judge.
Jump right in. Let's go.
AI and DJ music production. I think I broke this down into two levels, and we'll discuss this, and maybe we'll have some time to take some questions later. So take some notes on it if you have some questions. But the first area, since there's so many different subtopics, is going to be automation and creativity. AI-powered tools and platforms like DJ software that auto-mixes tracks and AI-generated music, raising questions about the role of human creativity in DJing. Purists argue that AI undermines the art form, while others see it as a tool for innovation. What do you guys want to know?
Sure, yeah. Something that I kind of come back to is DJing has always been a little bit disregarded by musicians as not music, even from the start. Like, what is this? You're just playing records, you from just putting the record on the turntable. But it's an amazing art form that was created. When you think of some of the most progressive arts that have affected the world, a lot of them were using something in the way that it wasn't intended and making someone reshape their mind about how a turntable could be used. I think now when you see the image of a turntable, I think about scratching, I think about DJs. I don't think about a record getting played, I think about DJs. So I feel that DJs have always had to stay one step ahead of the curve and sort of silence to the haters a little bit, or stay on your path if you feel inspired by something to follow that. But yeah, staying one step ahead of the technological curve is important.
Yeah, I think DJs, to add on to that, I think DJs also have been disruptors. And I feel like, and trendsetters and tastemakers, and I think like that is a part of our identity as a culture. And so I think it's important that we lean into that. And when you have tools like AI coming into the space and everybody's scared of what's going to happen, or not everybody, I don't want to paint so broad a brush, but there's a lot of people that are scared of this. You're not going to be able to put the bullet back in the gun. Like, AI is here, the technology is here. I remember, we were both DJing before computers came into the space. And I remember even me saying, I said, I will never use a computer. At the time, I owned a vinyl record store. I was, all in on vinyl. And I was like, nobody's ever going to use a computer to DJ with. And now look at it.
DJ City.
Yeah, right.
DJ City, So.
And so, really what ends up happening, I think, is these tools come into our space. And I think it's up to us to figure out, like, how do we use them? How do we use these tools to be able to, like, increase our workflow, increase our efficiency when it comes to that, right? Like, when we're talking about automation, sure, could you use this and just, Automix has been in DJ software for a long time now.
It's just boring.
Yeah, right, yeah, what are you gonna do? You're just gonna sit up there and, like, that I think is harder. I actually think that's harder, to fake the funk for 3 hours in front of a crowd, right? As opposed to, like, really getting in there and doing things. At the same time, I think to take a really positive approach to AI. How many people in here use AI in some form of, like, what you do on a daily basis? Okay, amazing, right? This is going to be a big part of our world, and some of us use AI without even knowing that we use AI. If you use Google Maps to get here today, or Maps, turn-by-turn directions, there's AI in that, right? So, but I think especially when it comes to the creativity, I find that me collaborating with AI is the stance that I've taken. So, like, I come to the table with a few ideas, maybe a prompt of some kind. I spit that into some sort of a tool. It's giving me some feedback. I'm then refining that. I'm trying to figure out this back and forth. I think about it as a collaboration tool. And, that's just my take on, I think, how we can use it.
Right. Now, being that I'm more on the dark side of Star Wars and the Jedi side, with my stormtrooper cufflinks, let me go ahead and see if we can't keep the positivity going with the curveball. Let's talk about how AI is causing job displacement.
Yeah. Those two things go hand in hand in every industry, I feel, But I do feel, again, staying ahead of the curve has been important along the way, whether it was digital DJing stuff, adapting to the tools that exist and understanding what they can do and what they can't do, and how to put yourself in the mix.
Isn't it creating fewer opportunities for DJs as venues opt for cheaper or automated alternatives?
I haven't seen it yet. I think I'll let Hapa go because he said something really good in our discovery period earlier about maybe some of those things that
we shouldn't be doing.
Yeah,
and then there are some people who are like trying to get a DJ to play a 4-hour party in their backyard, and they've got $50. Put on a Spotify playlist. Like, here, I'll rent you my speaker. I'll help collaborate with you on a Spotify playlist. Let's set that up to auto, and I'll come pick up the speaker tomorrow and give me the $50 or whatever for that, or whatever. Or I'll still charge you $100 for it, or whatever. But like that's not a job for a DJ, in my opinion. I think what will happen is, how many of you? I already know the answer, but like we saw this happen with other arts as well. Like so, photography. All of us are literally carrying around a camera in our pocket that is better than like some of the best cameras were 15 years ago, right? But if you were throwing a really like important event, a wedding, some sort of big life event, some big company event or whatever, NAMM, right? Like you wouldn't just ask for people to just take pictures on their iPhone. You wouldn't hire somebody to just take pictures on their iPhone. So I think when you look at even the photography industry, there's a bunch of photographers that are actually charging more than they ever were charging before because of that. So I actually think that that's going to happen in our world as well. I think the price of DJs will actually go up. But we all have to come together and realize our value. Like it won't happen if we don't realize our value. And here's a crazy thing real quick. Like if you had a wedding and let's say they spent $50,000 on a wedding. You said to the couple, how important is music at this wedding? Oh my gosh, it's very important. Make it up there, right? 50%. Yet what is the DJ getting paid for that? Out of that $50,000, how much of that budget is being allocated to the DJ? Right? So like think about that for a second. Like that's crazy that the florist is making more money than the DJ when those flowers are gonna fade and wither like very quickly.
We need our flowers too.
We do, and I really want anybody who even sees this, for all of you here in the room, and then anybody who sees this after the fact, to really understand that like DJs have value. Like you have value in what you actually provide, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
And sometimes it's finding a way to show your value to people, and that could be the hard piece to figure out that puzzle. One more thing on AI. When I boil DJing down to the simplest thing of the DJing, it's playing the right record at the right time. And I think that a human can interpret that better with all their senses than AI can, because they don't have the same kind of senses in the room. They can't read the room the same way. They can't get the temperature. So playing the right record at the right time is something that I'll always be able to do better than a machine.
And the machine will, and the machine will help. Yeah. And I will say this: there are people that are developing things to be able to do that. Which again, that's still, to me, that would be a collaboration though, because the machine could tell you, hey, I think it would make sense to play this song right now, and then you though are interpreting that as like, that's interesting, but no, I'm gonna go this way.
One step ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
You're paying for the artist.
Yeah.
And as artists specifically, you create a mood, and just like chefs create a flavor, you just are the ones that use your minds to pick the ingredients, put it together, and give something to it. And this is a great segue, by the way, totally unplanned, to the very next topic.
We're good at segues.
And exposure. You see, it's just so natural. How about, let's discuss play models. Some markets, DJs are required to sell tickets or pay for their own slots at events, leading to debates about exploitation versus opportunity. I think we touched a little bit on this $50 DJ.
Yeah.
Would that be more the exploitation?
Yeah, and unfortunately, I have a lot of friends who play in bands, And they've been doing this to bands for a long time. For a long time. And even worse for a band, like if you had a 5-piece band, now you're splitting that 5 ways, you know, and that's crazy. So I think, you know, DJ is really interesting because the DJ, like there's oftentimes where the DJ is regarded as talent, and then there's oftentimes where the DJ is as a service. So it kind of, there's a lot of gray area in there. But what I would say is I think like, you know, I'm not here to tell anybody what you should do in a particular scenario. I know plenty of people that have gotten on to pretty big, like bigger stages by like participating in a pay-to-play model, right? Ultimately, what is true is that you need to be able to build up a following of some kind. You know, you need to be able to start to get your name out there, start to build up, and I'm not just talking social media. I'm talking like people that actually show up for buy tickets, support you. And in order to do that, I think you have to do the same. So if you feel like, oh, I'm just like, I should send this out and everybody should come support me, but I'm not going to go and support anybody else, that's not going to work, right? So I think we all need to make sure that we're supporting other DJs, other musicians, other people in the space, and in turn, like that reciprocity will come back around. And by the way, don't do it on some like, I'm keeping tabs, like, yo, I went to see you 2 times, you've never come to see me, or like, you know, like, don't do that. You know, like, literally go and see, and also, by the way, one of the worst places to network is in the DJ booth. It's one of the worst places to network. So sometimes going out and seeing other DJs and supporting other DJs, like, you're actually gonna get more networking done. You're gonna meet more people, you're gonna learn more, without that pressure of like, oh, I gotta go on in like 15 minutes. You know, so please make sure that you do that, and then I think maybe that helps like offset that. But unfortunately, there are a lot of promoters out there that know that this model works, and they operate on supply and demand, and they also know that like, man, we can get another DJ next, you know.
There's always somebody.
Yeah.
But for specifically on Skratch, Bastid, your issue since you are a Twitch partner, really interested in your insights with regard to the streaming royalties.
Yeah, sure.
Platforms like Twitch and YouTube being used for live DJ sets. There's controversy around licensing and royalties, and whether DJs are compensated fairly for online performances.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a problem to be solved for the entire history of DJing, because we do use other people's music. I mean, there's obviously DJs, producers that make their own music as well, play their own, make remixes, samples, all this. It's always been kind of a hard puzzle to figure out, but I actually feel like in advancements as recently as the last year or two, there's been some great advancements. I'm on Twitch as part of the DJ program, and they figured out a way to make it above board, and legally we're allowed to play everyone else's music. There's always been this sort of in-between world of, well, you know, even mixtapes, dubbed cassettes, CDRs, hand-to-hand sales, DJ drama getting busted by the feds. It got to the level of like piracy, but there was such an art form within the piracy that we always were trying to figure out what's the right way to do it, because there's no question that DJ culture has had global impact for years, going back to the 70s. So how does this thing that impacts the world, how is it legal? You know, it's kind of it's a real tough puzzle to figure out. I mean, I'm talking to Laura, maybe you have the answer.
Yeah, maybe you have the answer.
So I gotta look up at the skies like, I think I have the solution.
Yeah, I really was trying to hide the script from you guys, because you are just going on into the next topic.
Well,
we're masters at transition.
yeah, I will say though, and my mix is on Apple Music. They have a system called Platoon that distributes royalties to the artists that I use in my mixes, and I get a cut of putting them out there as well. It's almost like a Amazon referral.
Yeah, I also will say really quick is I think that there are people that will solve this, hopefully, and I think going back to the first topic, I actually think that like there will be technology and AI technology will be able to help hopefully solve some of these issues, but the role of the DJ still remains the same. I mean, we've been breaking records, like you said. I mean, and honestly, I know Bob James because of Run DMC. You know, like that's how I was introduced to Bob James. I wouldn't know who Bob James was otherwise.
And I think Bob knows that too now.
Yeah.
You know, it took him a while to convert over to that side, but it can help artists tell the truth. James Brown was old till Eric and Rock came over. Now got soul. Rap brings back old R&B.
Yeah.
I know Sonic said it in '88. You know, so
Hopefully they'll get the formula down, because Spotify just invents new ways of dividing a penny.
a penny. Dividing a divided penny.
Dividing a penny, divided penny.
I got so many quarters of the quarter of a quarter of a quarter of a penny coming in. It's crazy.
Not even selling the copper in it anymore. With regard to copyright issues, let's touch base on sampling and licensing. DJs who use unauthorized samples or bootleg remixes face legal risks, but strict copyright enforcement can stifle creativity. So forget for a second that someone like me comes in and enforces it. But in this issue, there is a fine line between making it an original piece of work, an art form, despite the fact they're using copyright ingredients.
Yeah, let me say this real quick because I work with a lot of young people, you know, at the collegiate level, high school, middle school, and there are some creative ideas that people come up with. And I mean, I love working with the youngest kids because they really have no fear of just like throwing some stuff together, right? And I think some of us, once we've learned some of these things, we almost like get scared.
Restrict.
Yeah, to be able to try these things or try new things. It's like, oh, that'll never work. I'll never be able to clear the sample. How do you know? You know, so I don't think that that should be something that stifles your creativity, in my opinion. I think do it, create it, and then, you know, you'll tell whether or not that will, you know, hold up or not. I mean, one of my favorite dance music producers of all time is Avicii. Rest in peace. And I mean, I remember hearing Levels and hearing the Etta James sample in Levels, and it was just like, this is insane. You know, and I mean, I don't know for a fact, I'm sure you can find out, but I doubt he cleared the sample before he put that out. I mean, he was putting stuff on SoundCloud. When I first heard it was on SoundCloud, you know, so, and then they figured out how to, you know, sign it, clear the sample, do all of that. That's what, like, guys like Michael are for, you know? It's like, do your part, be creative, don't let that stifle your creative flow, and then figure it out, you know, and if it holds weight and you can get it cleared, then go for it.
It is a case-by-case basis for sure, though. You never know, one artist might like it, one artist might not, but with the way that we can reach people very quickly with social media, tools like that, I think Hapa's approach is good. Don't let it stifle your creativity.
Yeah, I mean, and again, nice segue into the streaming platforms issue, because it is related. Because you can take copyrighted work,
Yeah.
and you can even use as much of copyrighted work as you want to. You don't monetize. So the difference is that once you put it onto one of these platforms that sells ad space, that's when they say, hey, not just that, but we can't have that on there because then we get in trouble because now we're monetizing your stuff. And that's kind of where the streaming platforms get into the DMCA takedowns, you know, like YouTube or Twitch or Instagram. And they make it difficult for DJs to showcase their work without fear of being flagged. You run into this.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't think you're pushing the envelope if you have it. Yeah.
And there's lots of new technology that identifies what the works are. I mean, we know Shazam, you know, even when you post something on Instagram that says may contain this, blah, blah, blah. Those things can be attributed. Everyone's trying, I think most people, most musicians from any, they're trying to figure out how to fit into the current online space. It's moving so quickly and changing so quickly. And I think DJs, we are kind of the original remixers, you know? Producers and DJs are the word remix comes from producers and DJs and DJ culture. And think of how remixed the world is now.
Right. Well, let me try to, one more shot to bring you down to my level, the dark side. Thank you. Let's cover our last three topics. One, ghost production and fake DJs. I'm going to get something out of you guys at some point. That might be controversial, I don't know.
Looking for that good content, aren't you?
He's looking for that viral content.
You want names?
I want everybody out of here saying hot sauce. Exactly, hot sauce. So let's talk about how many celebrity DJs they will remain or influencers rely on ghost producers to create their tracks and pre-recorded sets. We know it happens.
Yeah, it happens at lots of levels. Not even just celebrities, but full-on artists with big names behind them. I mean, producer role has always been a bit of whoever pays for it gets that title in some ways, but I think through DJ culture and a bunch of other underground cultures, the producer was really tied to their name, but I think that culture of paying for something and not really being transparent about who did what.
Does it diminish the value of skill-based performance?
Ghost producers? Or does the existence of those diminish the value of skill-based performers? Good question. I think so.
I think it does until the audience is really made aware at a level where we all recognize what real looks like. You know, so for my own endeavors, like I've been very hyper-focused on DJ education for the last like 20 years. And even more so over the last like 5 years of really getting DJ education into K through 12 schools, being able to expose people. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Being able to expose a larger audience or the larger audience to what DJs actually do. And by exposing the audience to what DJs do, I think they'll be able to better differentiate like what is real and what is not, or what is fake and what is not. You know, I would love to get to a point where the average person is able to look at a photo of a DJ where nothing is plugged in and be like, oh, nothing is plugged in. You know, we're not there yet. Right, like if I gave you a photo of the inside of a kitchen at a fine dining restaurant and you saw like, you know, Bobby Flay or whatever back there not doing anything, right? Like you'd be able to identify that because you know what cooking looks like. You know what that is. You know what goes into the art form. And the general audience knows that. The general audience doesn't know that yet about DJing, but that's really where I think we need to push in that direction where then everybody does know what that is and can respect it at that level.
We talk about bringing DJs into the market, and yes, the ease and access to DJ equipment and software has led to a flood of amateur DJs, which some argue dilutes the overall quality and makes it harder for skilled professionals to stand out. You find that because it's so easy to just have a program or AI or just get like these now automated tables, that the market is oversaturated for harder for skilled DJs to find.
Yeah, I think so, but I think the cream rises to the top, and I think that leads into what comes from what Hapa said there about the education of what's going on. I mean, we've seen in all facets of music the rise of interest in, say, guitars. I mean, I'm sure there's some Christmas '82, there was a lot of guitars under the tree or something like that, you know? And then it's like, is that a bad thing? No, it's a lot of people getting into something, and then they're still going to have the same guitar gods to look up to, and there's going to be some new guitar gods that come out of that, and there's going to be a lot of guitars for sale as well. I mean, I think the general interest in DJing is a good thing. There's always going to be some complexities with the market, but then again, it comes back to kind of showing your value and making yourself valuable.
Yeah, and I think we have to do our part to represent DJing properly. So if we leave it up to somebody else outside of the culture to be able to represent what this culture looks like,
Or some platform.
yes, then that's very dangerous. So I think it's really important that we represent the culture and moving that forward and being able to share what this is. I actually don't think the market is oversaturated by any means. I don't even think we're anywhere close to what this should be. I mean, I want to get to a point where every school in the world has access to DJing, and that kids are actually learning how to DJ before the recorder. Like that's what I want. You know, because what I do think is that you have millions upon millions of then people that are then looking up to what Skratch Bastid does, or what Jazzy Jeff does, or what, you know, a lot of these, you know, very, very skilled DJs do in our space. That'll just push that up even higher, and that's what I think needs to happen.
All right, last topic, social media, branding. Both of you
Transitions have just been chef's kiss.
masters, complete masters, social media and branding, both literally. My research into both of you and into history, fantastic. Your branding, fantastic. DJs are increasingly judged on their social media presence and branding rather than their skills, however. Right? So leading to concerns about a shift in priorities within the industry. I know both of you have the goods backed up what you do. But what happens with regard to the role of social media and branding making influencers more important than the talent? What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, we could have done a whole thing on this, I think, but it is a. I feel like it is a necessity in the space. I feel a really crazy energy in social media right now. In the last maybe 3 months or something, that's even the TikTokification of things, where you're no longer getting what you signed up for, but they're giving you something. It's no longer the follower. We're kind of not in the follower generation. We're kind of in the platform decides, and you have to figure out for yourself as an artist how much you want to play in that game to get there. But like I said, like I went viral before YouTube. It was just the goods that made it good. And if you've got something that's a thing that can get around, I think the cream does rise to the top.
Oh yeah, no, all good. Get it. I think we all need to understand that you have a brand. You have a brand already, and that your brand is unique to who you are. There is no two humans that are the same, right? Like you have a brand, and even if you do similar things to another person, like you have your own unique take on what that is. And I think it's really important to lean into that. Like and sometimes, brand can be a little bit elusive in terms of like, what does that mean? You have a brand. Like, how do I develop my brand more? I think there are a ton of people that are experts in this space that can help you work on your branding. We actually just started offering a course on our platform for helping DJs understand branding better. But I personally believe that like that is core to who you are and what's going to make you stand out. When you go to the grocery store and you're looking for a bottle of water, think about that. How many different brands are there? Right? Which one do you choose? Right? Now think about the DJ landscape in that same way, right? It's all water at the end of the day, right? It's all you're hiring somebody to be able to play the right song at the right time. Like that's what you're looking for. But what's going to make you stand out? And also realizing that like not everything is for you. And so certain things that you see other people doing, that might not be your lane. Maybe, there needs to be some inner work, I think, that needs to happen in order to really discover who you really are and what your brand means and what that means to be able to create more and lean into your own brand. But it's so important. The other one quick thing I'll say, because I know we got to get out of here, we've got this up on the screen. This is really important to me, and I had somebody actually argue with me about this, and I stand firm on what I say with this, is that we each have our own websites. Build a website. Because like your website is not your Instagram page. As we saw with TikTok coming down, like none of this stuff is here forever. Your website though, this is something that you can curate, that you can put your own creative input into, and that's yours. It's like a little piece of real estate that exists in the internet, right? So make sure that you grab a website, set up a website, direct people to your site, like keep it updated. Like I couldn't say more about that. Yeah.
John, sure. we're gonna run out of time right here, but what we're going to do is we're going to take some Q&A outside and make sure that we are, maybe this will play for you, able to take some questions.
Sure.
Would you be able to?
Yeah, we'll hang out. We'll be outside.
When you hear the beat, you want to pat your feet. When you hear the beat, you want to pat your feet.
Thank you so much for coming.
Oh wait, one last thing. Michael asked us to give him a DJ name before we got off the stage. So we've come up with a DJ name that I think is very fitting of you, Michael. And I'll let Skratch Bastid go ahead and announce it. Oh, we got a presentation as well. Hold on, we have a presentation as well. Hold on, real quick.
You are the Sauce Man.
This is DJ the Sauce Man.
Good
good sauce, and I'm so excited to try it. Gentlemen, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Round of applause again for